What starts as a 5-month marriage and a full-blown courtroom showdown over a house, money, and trust. The husband says this is his premarital home and his business lifeline. The wife says she's broke, scared, and being watched. And then the neighbor steps in with photos, videos, and late-night allegations that flip the entire hearing. This case isn't about romance. It's about possession, credibility, and how fast a judge will cut through emotional noise when property rights are on the line. Who do you think the law favors here?
I decided wish to make a opening statement.
Judge, if we can, I would like to do a quick announcement on that restraining order, make sure we're all good with it, and then we'll move on from there. I am going to request the rule, please, the court.
The rule has been requested. If there are any witnesses in this case, they must go outside of the courtroom and remain outside of the courtroom until you're called to testify. Do not discuss the testimony of any other party until you have testified yourself. Counsel are under continuing duty to ensure that rule is complied with. Mr. Woodall, what's the other one? Odell. Mr. Odell, Mr. Woodall, you have the case after this, and if we do not get to it today, you can have it heard if you want Thursday. Here in Dixon Chancery, we have the Marcello versus Marcello that you're involved in, so we can have moved this case to Thursday morning as well.
Thursday morning will work with me, Your Honor.
All right. We'll hear it first, your motion first, and then we'll hear the Marcello case thereafter, because this is set before the Marcello. So you're welcome to wait around. I'm just simply telling you that if you need to go, that's what'll happen. So, you know Mr. Holly and Mr. Baker well enough that at 3:30 in the afternoon, if you think they're going to get to it before 5 o'clock, wait around. Mr. Holly, you can announce your agreement.
The agreement for the restraining order will be as follows. It'll take me a minute. I just came out with it out in the hall, but basically the restraining order is going to be agreed to with both parties participating in the agreement, such that both parties will be restrained from accessing any and all emails, social media, or any other accounts, financial or otherwise, bearing the name of Kimberly Claiborne, C&K Forklift, Christopher Wayne Claiborne, or Amy Childers. If there's anybody else we need to throw in there, I'll be glad to think, we'll talk about it. Basically the parties at that point. The parties are restrained from having any involvement and or contact with any of the accounts, pretty much the same thing, including but not limited to their LinkedIn accounts, their Facebook, banking, credit cards, or any other accounts dealing with the business of the husband, namely C&K Forklift. And I guess that's other than Mr. Claiborne has to have access to that because that is his business. That would more or less fall under number one, I guess, at that point. However that works itself out. She has so I understand that there's a LinkedIn account, and somehow or another it got to shown up on there as she was the owner. And I think he's got one and maybe she's got one, and that's how it kind of happened. But I'm assuming she would agree to take, if it's not up to him, she's going to agree to take that down where she's the owner.
I don't know that she's the owner. I don't know that she's the control of that account.
Of the LinkedIn account? I didn't know if she had one. He thought that she had
I have
one.
my own for the company. That the one that's got messed up is not mine. I still have mine for the business.
Yeah. Both parties are going to be enjoined from making Amy Childers the owner of the LinkedIn account, and both parties, I guess, would be restrained from not cooperating with each other while we try to resolve that one account that says maybe she is the owner, and you see that and attached to the motion. So that's the one thing that we need to be doing. Is that fair enough?
That's fair.
And I understand that according to Ms. Childers, she doesn't have any information with any of the passwords that were changed to the email address of his late wife, Kim Claiborne, 1973 at gmail.com, or any of the other things that are listed here. But both parties would be court ordered to give up any passwords. If they've changed any passwords on any accounts of the other, both parties would be ordered to give the passwords to the lawyers, and we'll pass it on to our respective clients. And the other thing is, he's got, and we've contested this, it's going to be very contested, domestic with the bond conditions. There's that order of protection that the court saw that came in. And my client was worried, and I think with good concern, and it would actually be reflective on both parties, that if we try to get back in Kimberly Claiborne's email, which by the way is used for the business she was big with the C&K forklift with Mr. Claiborne, and that was the name, Chris and Kim Forklift, and the client still used her email quite a bit, so he needs to get back into that thing, and he'll work to get back in or hire somebody to get back in. But when we do this, my understanding is, and I'm somewhat familiar, of course I'm stuck in the 1980s when it comes to electronics. I did get close to Jelly Roll at the Titans game, so I do know who that is a little before you did. But the Kimberly Claiborne thing, if we try to get back into that account, it may very well, if there is some reflection with that email that we saw, it might ding her phone. She might get some sort of acknowledgement that we're going through some verification to change Kimberly Claiborne back, where Mr. Claiborne can have access to it. But if we have a Google notification or we have any other notifications that ding the phone of the other one, that will not count as a violation of anything, albeit the domestic bond conditions, which this court has, the court in White Bluff City Court agreed that you have full reign to change those, whatever you want to do, and I passed that order up prior. But whatever it is, if somebody gets some sort of notification that we're changing these back, it's not going to violate that or the order of protection. So if I missed anything, let me know, Mr. Mayor, but I think that covers it. And I'll do an order accordingly. And
let's take a short recess. Let me stretch my leg for a second.
yes, sir.
All rise.
All right, if you wish to make an opening statement, Mr. Holly, go ahead.
Judge, briefly, just to give you a little roadmap, this is a 5-month marriage. Married in October. They moved into this house in December. They haven't been there long at all. There's a domestic, there's an order of protection, there's everything that could possibly be done has been done, I think. It's been highly contested from Mr. Claiborne, and it will continue to be highly contested that he ever committed a domestic assault, that there ever was a valid order of protection that needed to be done. What you're going to hear from us today is that he's had this house since 2016 with his prior wife. Prior wife passed away of a horrible situation with COVID. He was on one floor of the hospital, she was on the other, and it was horrible. But anyway, she's passed away, and of course the house is and continues to be his sole separate property. The marriage has taken a horrible turn for the worst, and these parties are in a situation where they can't agree to much. The neighbors are going to testify about all the ongoings at the house. I think there's significant waste that this court needs to hear about a little bit in this situation. I think the evidence, when the dust settles, you'll see that the wife does have some sufficient funds to get a place and to move on. I really think, we get into these and we know that short-term marriage is only one or two things that apply, but I think the biggest issue in this is possession of the house out of the whole marriage. So we're asking the court to hear that today. He wants his house back. He's been living in hotels, so that's what the court's going to hear. And he runs the business out of his house, and it's instrumental for that aspect. He stores and keeps forklift parts again, and I've learned a lot about how that works. Everybody nowadays, with the way the world turns, they're not making new forklifts like they weren't making new cars, and everybody wants to keep their forklifts running, and he's got quite a business being on call and things like that to keep everything going, and it's totally disrupted all of that. So that's our
Maybe you wish to make an opening.
I'd waive, Judge.
You call your first witness.
Call Jerry Johnson, she's out in the hallway. Let me get it. You got it, let me get it, you got it. State your name, please, for the record.
Jerry Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, where do you live?
I live 70 East in White Bluff, Tennessee.
In correlation to Mr. Claiborne's home, where is that?
Right next door.
Okay, so you are familiar with Mr. Claiborne.
Yes,
How long have you lived there?
I moved in February 1st, 2021.
How do you find Mr. Claiborne since that time as your next door neighbor?
Great neighbor, always looking out for each other. When he would leave town, he'd let me know, various cars were going to be there. Keep an eye on the house and vice versa.
Okay.
Share the same lawn guy.
I'm sorry?
We share the same lawn guy.
Okay. Now, you're aware that Mr. Claiborne has been removed from the home, correct?
That was brought to my attention on the 6th of March.
Okay. And what is it like living next to Ms. Childress at this point?
Various cars in and out, different cars, probably a new car every other day, but multiple cars there.
And with these multiple cars, they're going in and out. When are they going in and out?
All times of the day and night.
Have you noticed unusual people over at the house?
Yeah, some familiar and some unusual.
How often do you see people over at the house?
I would say there's people over there at least on a daily basis.
You seen any of the same people?
Yes, some of the same people.
May I approach?
Right.
Show you a picture and ask you if you recognize this picture. We got a few pictures to get through.
Yes,
You
I do.
recognize that? What is that a picture of?
A few people in the backyard in the hot tub.
And you remember when that picture was taken?
Not the date exactly, no.
Was it taken during the time that Miss Childress was over there?
Yes.
May I approach you, Joe?
You may.
Let me show you another picture and ask you to set that down. Ask you if you recognize that picture.
Yes, I do.
And again, was that picture taken during the time that Miss Childress was over there?
Yes.
So what is that a picture of? Can you describe that to the court?
Two ladies getting in the hot tub.
Okay.
Judge, I'm gonna object to the relevance of this unless this is going somewhere.
Judge?
Well, I've been hearing cases involving a lot of irrelevant things today, but I'm going to allow it, overrule the objection. Are you wishing to make these an exhibit collectively? Or?
Collectively in a minute, Judge, yes, and we don't have to do it. Time I could approach.
Right.
Show you another picture and ask you if you recognize that picture.
Yes, I do.
What is that a picture of?
People outside on the deck.
And was that picture taken when Miss Childress was over at the home?
Yes.
And it was taken then during the month of March?
Yes.
Okay, are all these pictures a fair and accurate depiction of what you see over at the house?
Yes.
I notice there are blinds here that are in the picture. Whose blinds are those?
Those are my kitchen blinds.
Okay, and you're taking these pictures from your kitchen, correct?
There's some from my kitchen, and then to get pictures of the cars in the driveway, I take them from my bedroom or my daughter's bedroom window.
Did you feel like there was some questionable activity going on over at the house?
Well, I noticed that things had changed considerably after Claiborne, was removed from the home.
Did you see this type of activity going on when Mr. Claiborne had the home?
No.
Collective one, Judge.
Collective exhibit 1. Marking A, B, C, D, E, F.
This is where the case takes a sharp turn. The neighbor testifies about unfamiliar cars, hot tub photos, trash piles, and a truck leaving at 3 a.m. Legally, this isn't about gossip, it's about use and control of the property during temporary possession. Courts allow this kind of testimony not to shame someone, but to show whether the home is being treated responsibly. Still, there's a fine line between legitimate concern and invasive surveillance. At what point does watchful neighbor turn into problematic witness?
May I approach again, Judge?
You may.
I'll show you. I'm going to hand you 3 this time. We'll do it this way. I want to hand you these photographs and ask you if you recognize those photographs.
Yes, I do.
These photographs that you took,
Yes,
and did you take them from your home?
yes. Two of them, one was taken from my bedroom window, one was taken from my front porch, and the other one was taken from my mailbox.
Okay. And you described to the court what we're about to introduce here for the court. What are these pictures of?
Oh, these pictures
Yes, ma'am.
that you gave me? They were pictures of some of the various vehicles that have been over at the house.
Just, it's fair to say this is like a random day in the life of your next door neighbor?
Yes,
Collective two, Jeff.
Exhibit 2 collected.
I'll renew my relevance objection, Judge.
And really, I'm assuming you're introducing these to show the use and possession of the house and what it's being used for during the time that the defendant has possession.
And the waste that's going on over at the house, and, you know, we just don't know.
It is
So
for that reason, Mr. Baker, I'm allowing it to be introduced. Did you get them?
if I could approach Judge, show you this picture and ask you if you took that picture.
no, I didn't take this picture.
What is that a picture of?
I will object to that. She didn't take the picture, she can't authenticate it.
Well, of course you can. You can authenticate it as to whether or not it represents true and accurate representation of what she observed on a particular day. I don't think it requires that you take the picture before you can authenticate what it is. So overrule the objection.
So this is a picture of the bags and boxes that were outside of the home one day. This was just one of the occasions.
Did you see that yourself?
I did see this myself, but I did not take the picture.
All right, but is this a fair and accurate depiction of, looks like a lot of trash and a lot of boxes and things that are just being discarded out of the home?
Yes,
And does it look like quite a bit of stuff?
it does look like quite a bit of stuff.
Next exhibit, Judge.
Ready, Mr. Holly?
I am, Judge, I have just a minute. I have the color photograph of that, and I don't know where I found it. Oh, well. We'll do the black and white one. I understand, Ms. Johnson, let me show you these three pictures. I want to ask you if you recall the day that these pictures were taken?
Yes, I do.
Did you take these pictures?
Yes, I did.
And what do these pictures appear to be?
They are pictures of Chris Claiborne's truck being towed off the property.
How did you find that day that his truck was being towed off of the property?
Extremely odd because, so may I back up a minute?
Go ahead.
So I was first contacted on the 6th of March by Mr. Claiborne's daughter, Sydney Claiborne, letting me know he had been removed from the home.
I will object to the hearsay.
Holly, you have any exception, sustained?
You can't testify about what somebody said, but you can testify as to why you saw the
Okay.
picture to be unusual, okay?
Well, I felt that the pictures were odd. There were new cars that are showing up at the house. Here his vehicle is being removed. Boxes are coming in and out. Trash is put outside. So it was unusual.
Next exhibit, Judge, and I'll link that up with some of Mr. Claiborne's testimony as well. Since she took the pictures, I want to show you a document. I want to ask you if you recall this document.
Yes, I do.
And what is this document?
This is an email that I sent to you on the 29th of March with a text message that I had received from Amy Childress.
Okay. And can you read the email into the record?
Yes, the email, I said, do you think this is something I should go to the police about? Her text message says, "Hi Jerry, this is your neighbor Amy. I just wanted to reach out and apologize if you feel I have annoyed you in any way. I've been nothing but kind and supportive, asking if y'all ever needed anything. I apologize for all the cars coming and going, but it is for my safety and I have not had one party. Also, I have had no more cars in my driveway than you have. There were more vehicles in my driveway when Chris lived here. I will try and get the yard mowed if that is an annoyance as soon as I have the funds. I would use our current yard guy, but Chris still owes him $400 from not paying last year. That being said, Reese Hawley has made it known to many that you are taking pictures of my home and the cars coming in it. I also saw the pictures yesterday from the stand on Reese Hawley and Chris's table. Detective Lovell is also aware you have admitted to taking pictures to Reese Hawley. That is a direct violation of an order of protection and bond conditions that you are fully aware of against my husband. Some of the pictures taken are also of off-duty police officers and security, just so you are aware. I am asking you to stop taking pictures of my home and communicating anything back to my husband or his attorney in regards to me or any activity at 5278 Highway 70 East. Per law enforcement, Chris is no longer a resident at this address currently. If this does not stop immediately, I will call the police and get the detective and DA involved. I have also made my attorney aware of the situation, and he will move forward with legal action next. This is also to make you aware you are not allowed on my property, and if you are, I will file charges of trespassing as this is your official warning. Please do not respond back to me. If you feel that I am being an annoyance at any time, please reach out to the police and they can handle it as they are fully aware of the situation.
So when you received this email, how did you take this email?
Well, it was a text message and
Text
she
message.
sent it to me from both of the phone numbers I have for her. I took it as a threat.
Had you already been to court? This was on Wednesday, March 29th, correct?
That was the day after the first court hearing.
Okay. And the first court hearing, you're talking about the hearing in White Bluff City Court.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you showed up there to be a witness
I was
for Mr.
subpoenaed
Glover.
there to be a witness, yes.
And you felt like she was sending you this after that court appearance.
Yes.
Did any of the law enforcement at all, the Detective Lovell or anybody ever contact you outside of Miss Childers at all?
No.
Okay. I would make that the next filed exhibit, Judge.
Exhibit 5.
So it's fair to say that there's issues between apparently Miss Childers and you being her neighbor, correct?
There is now, yes.
What has that caused you to do in the last couple of years, especially since you've gotten this text message?
Well, it's caused my whole family and I to be uncomfortable in our home. We've constrained our dogs so that they don't have full access to the yard very often. We have been in the past, we don't lock our doors. Now we lock our doors. And when I'm away from the home, I turn on the security. If I'm home by myself, I turn on the security alarm.
And who lives with you at your address?
My father, my mother, my sister, and my 12-year-old daughter.
Okay. And have they witnessed all the same?
Yes, they have.
Okay. And how do you, have you noticed that, or whether or not it's affected them in any manner?
Absolutely.
And what have you witnessed about that?
Well, my parents are, I wouldn't even call it paranoid, but you have to understand they are professional dog handlers. And so the dogs that we have are very expensive and they're afraid that their animals will be harmed. They're also concerned about my own safety.
I'm plugged up to the big screen, and I'm wondering if there's a button that we could flip. I have a video I'd like to, and this is the end of it. I'd like to play one video that she's.
What kind of dogs do you all have?
Eagles.
We'll show you a video here, and I'll ask some questions about it. Did you recall the day that happened?
Yes,
The night that
the
happened?
night that
Pardon me?
happened,
Yeah.
yes.
And when was that? Do you remember?
I don't remember the exact date.
Was it during a time that Ms. Childress had the property or Mr. Claiborne had the property?
Ms. Childress.
Okay.
I can tell you the truck left once, and it was like 2:00 in the morning. It returned back about 2:20, and then it left again at 3:00. That was it leaving at 3:00 in the morning.
Okay, and you heard the loud muffler. Did it sound like that at your house?
Yes, my bedroom, I sleep with the window open, and my bedroom window is the closest to the Claiborne house.
Could you sleep for the truck coming and going?
No,
Did that also affect the other members of your house that evening?
With all due respect, now I do think we're venturing into something that's irrelevant on the possession of the marital residence. I sympathize with her about how it affects her, but going into how it affects her family, I think was beyond the pale.
Fair enough. Your witness.
Favor?
I would move that video in as an exhibit.
Do you have a copy of it to make part of the record?
I've had the other photos on this thumb drive. I would like to have the opportunity maybe to present that to the court.
Until you, or you made a late file exhibit if you want.
That's what I'm asking, a late file exhibit to that, but I've got it here on the thumb drive if I need
You
it.
submitted exhibit 6.
Sergeant, I'm going to lodge an objection to that. There was nothing established that that car even pulled into this house. It's a car on the road, and they're trying to infer something.
It shows the truck backing up and then it leaving the driveway, and I'm familiar with this location of these two houses. This is the one on Highway 70, right?
Yes, sir.
Towards, almost to Craigie Hill.
almost to Kingston Springs, Craigie
Almost to
Hill.
Craigie Hill.
Yes, sir.
I know where it is, I know the houses, I watched them being built, so I'm familiar with it, and I understand what she's saying about the fact that a vehicle that leaves at 3:00 in the morning would be something she would recognize. Her testimony is that she recorded the truck leaving the home that was being possessed by Ms. Childress at 2:33 or 2 or 2:20 and 3, and I'm allowing it for that purpose.
Okay. Do you know, go ahead.
Her testimony was she was familiar with it. Her sister took the video while she was standing right beside her. So if that comes out that way, I didn't want to mislead the
This is
court.
a temporary possession, a temporary hearing anyway.
Do you know who was driving that truck?
No, sir.
All right, so why are you saying that that's relevant to that house? Explain to me. An
Because-
unknown truck pulls in there.
Prior to Mr. Claiborne being removed from the home, we didn't have any of this going on. We didn't have unknown vehicles in and out all hours of the night. I didn't have, if they were having a party or such, or, let's say he was running his race car, I knew what the noises were. That's what,
Well, that's kind of, take me through that, because to me, that's specious reasoning. Just because something happens after he moved out, it had to be related to who had possession of the house?
right, but there were a lot of things going on. Items being removed, trash being removed, moving boxes moving in. There were lots of things going on. A truck removed from his parking lot or his driveway. There were
Normal?
lots of, no, that was not normal.
All right, it's not normal for a person having a divorce whose husband got arrested for domestic assault, was served an order of protection. You're telling me that's not unusual?
I did not know about any, I knew that he had been removed from the home, but I can tell you that as much stuff was moving out of that home was not moved in when she moved in.
Why is it any of your business in the first place?
Because I am the neighbor and I look out for my community.
All right, who told you to take these pictures?
Nobody told me to take those pictures. I took those pictures on my own without anybody knowing until the truck was towed off the property, and I talked to my family about it, and they suggested I reach out to Mr. Claiborne.
Well, how do you think it would make the neighbor feel if you had a snoopy neighbor taking pictures of them all the time?
I would hope that if something like that at my house was going on, that they'd take pictures too.
Because you're the standard that everybody should live by.
Judge, I'm gonna object. We're getting a little argumentative here.
Same argumentative.
All right, this picture of the two women in the hot tub, what's unusual about that?
Usually the hot tub is run at night when the lights are dark and nobody's there.
So you take issue with the time of day somebody's using the hot tub?
I was taking issue of all the different people that were in and out of that house.
Do you know these two people?
Nope.
These cars, do you know who these cars belong to?
Only the black Armada, the blue Jeep that you see in there occasionally, and that's it.
Well, it sounds like to me you're more worried about the one car because you don't know who this one car belongs to.
No, there were more than one car.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
Right.
Can you show me where there's another car?
This is another car, this is another car. There's also been a truck, there's been a red car.
Show me the truck in that picture.
It's not in this picture, it's in the other picture.
Now, I asked you how many. You identified two vehicles and you said there's a third.
Right, the Armada that is usually there.
All right. Do you know who the Armada belongs to?
Yes, Mr. Claiborne.
Okay. The time Mr. Claiborne lived there was more vehicles than that in the driveway, correct?
Yes,
The difference is you just don't know who they are now.
exactly.
So this sounds more like neighbor who's in the neighbor's business is worried and complaining.
Judge, I'm gonna object again.
Is that not true?
Argumentative, sustained.
Judge, I think that's a fair question. What's the difference between, okay, if I know who the cars are and there's more cars there before the divorce, now there's less cars there, but by her own admission, it's because I can't identify at least one of those cars, something's unusual. I think that's a
Motivation, Mr. Baker, in taking the photographs or whatever is what you were arguing about. But she is a fact witness about the activities that have been going on at the house. Her reasons or motivation for doing it is not relevant. What she's been brought in as a witness is to show that this is what's going on. So that's the reason I'm sustaining that the question is argumentative.
All right, I'll rephrase the question. There's less cars there now after Mr. Claiborne moved out, correct?
No, there's not.
Then why a minute ago when I asked you, said there were more cars there when he lived there?
He has a truck, he has his work van, he has the Armada, he has a boat, he has a trailer. And then on occasion, her blue Jeep is there.
And friends come over sometimes and visit and so forth, correct?
Right, and I usually know those vehicles as well.
All right, so that's the whole problem here, right?
No,
No further questions, Judge.
Redirect. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. You may be released from your subpoena.
thank
Sorry,
you.
next witness.
Oh, Mr. Claiborne.
Ivan, come around, please. Raise your right hand and face our clerk.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You're Chris Claiborne, correct?
Yes,
And you're married to Amy Childers, correct?
yes, sir.
When did you get married?
October 3rd, something like that,
What year?
2022.
So this has been a 5-month marriage?
Yes, sir.
If I'm counting on my fingers right. First off, the house, you've seen the photographs. Do you own that house?
I have, sir. Me and my late wife purchased it around, I think, 2016, 15, 16, something like that.
If I could approach Judge.
May.
heard the testimony the last time you recorded got continued. You went and got a true copy of your deed, correct?
Sir, that's the deed that still shows my name on the property and plus my late wife's name.
And that was from 2016, correct?
Yes, sir.
If anything, that's about a 6-some-odd month situation that you've owned that home, 6 years.
6 years, yes, sir.
Some-odd months.
Yes, sir. I think it was in June is when we actually purchased the home of that year.
Next exhibit.
7.
7.
You heard my opening statement that you guys moved in December into that home, correct?
Yes, sir.
Was that
Yes, sir.
accurate? I
Yes,
guess
sir.
that's what I'm saying, okay. You know, when you lived there, you heard your neighbor's testimony. What type of wild parties did you have?
Not really many. We had a party for my daughter for I think it was maybe New Year's or somewhere right around in there, some kind of a party or a Christmas party or something other. And we had a bunch of her friends over there. Generally, though, anytime I was going to have anything going on at the home, I'd say, hey, I would talk to the neighbors. We'd always communicate back and forth and say, hey, there's going to be people in and out or whatever, or I'm going to be gone or something other like that. And then a lot of times on the weekends, my daughter, if she was at home, she would have some friends here or there over, but very rarely.
And, I mean, you're familiar with these photographs that your neighbor took, correct? You've
Yes,
seen
sir.
them.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody in these photographs that you recognize?
Well, when they was first took, no, but after the fact, after I found out who one of the girls was that was in the hot tub, I did know, then I know who that is now, after the fact.
Does that cause you concern with your house being used in that fashion?
It does, because it's a brand new home, and you're seeing so many people come in and out of the home that I don't know what's being brought in and out of my home, what's being done to my home. I mean, there's a lot of valuable things in that home. I mean, there's like high-dollar TVs, there's weapons in the home. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in this home. There's all kinds of jewelry in the home. I still got a lot of my jewelry there that's not got removed from the house. Some of my late wife's wedding bands and stuff are still there. That's thousands of dollars worth of stuff in this home that's just sitting there with all these people coming in and out, and I have no idea what's going on inside that home now.
And to be clear, when you were living with Miss Childress during the 90, I guess, or so days, more or less, that she was there, did y'all live like that?
No, sir. No, sir. Like I said, we had the one party she catered for my daughter. I think it was like a Christmas party or something like that, some kind of a party, and we had a bunch of her friends over there. Other than that, the whole time we lived there, Miss Childress never had one guest come to that home because of her that I can recall that she knew. Most of her friends, whether they live in Nashville or her sister lives out of town in East Tennessee, and I don't even met her once at a wedding. So other than that, I had some of my family members would come over, like my aunt would come every couple of weeks and clean the home or something like that. They had the yard guys, about it.
So you had business credit cards.
Yes, sir.
You have any concerns as to how they've been used by Ms. Childress during this time?
Yes, sir.
Tell the court about that.
I had looked down one day on my phone, and I was just thinking, well, I haven't checked my business, one of my business cards. I carry 2 Chase cards and a American Express card for work. And I logged into my Chase app to see if there was a payment due. And then all of a sudden, this was the week after I had left the home. And I looked down, and all of a sudden, it's showing over $4,000 in Amazon purchases made in 1 week. So I got Chase on the phone, and I shut the credit card down and trying to figure out what's going on. Where is these over $4,000 in purchases coming from? And they told me that I had to contact.
Objection, hearsay.
No, it appeared to be hearsay.
I would
Can't
say,
repeat what somebody else told you.
Judge, that, this is for all intent and purposes, a business record. It was a business credit card that he has, and he's looking at his.
That, but what you're asking him to repeat is a statement made by someone at the credit card company you want him to repeat what someone else told him to introduce that statement as true, right?
Well, are you trying to say what somebody has told you, not what you saw?
All they told me who to contact.
You can't testify to what somebody told you. Let's leave it there. Okay, keep going.
So I looked and seen that the charges were all Amazon charges. So I called Amazon, And on each one of the charge, on each charge, it had like a HQ number, H number on it. And I asked them, I said, "What is this charge?" And they told me what each
Judge, I'm gonna
purchase.
object to the
You can't
hearsay.
testify what
Oh,
they
sorry.
told you.
Okay.
But based on your phone call with Amazon, then what did you do next?
I shut that card down and I flagged it off as fraudulent activity because it was nothing that I had purchased.
When you look back over your business card and the Amazon statements, what type of things were being purchased?
Vacuum sealer, dish sets, curtains, some kind of a reef was being purchased. I mean, there was soaps, there was a mouthwash rinse thing bought. I mean, it was just on and on. There was cases of dog food being bought. I mean, it was just stuff that you would just, stuff that I would never even think about buying. I mean, it was just purchase after purchase after purchase of just different things.
Right, and according to
It
the
was like,
statement,
it was movie subscriptions, it was Amazon subscriptions, and I'm like, it just went on for like 5 days of the purchases just went on.
and again, with your business account and that situation, could you tell where all the stuff's being shipped to?
Yes, sir, I could. It was being shipped to the house,
And
to
did
my
you-
house.
Or did you order it?
No, sir, I did not.
Did Mrs. Childress have any permission from you to use that account for those purposes?
Not for that, no, sir.
The forklift company, we'll strike that. May I approach?
You may.
Look, I want to show you a document and ask you if you recognize that document.
Yes, sir, I do.
That's a document that you put together that shows what?
It shows all of the purchases that was made from 3 different credit cards of mine. That some of the credit cards that was at the house, not even in my possession. Like the one from AT&T, that card was at the home when there was $1,100 was like charged on it in one day. And then Dixon Storage, there was $1,600 charged in one day, back-to-back charges.
You heard Ms. Childress testify at White Bluff City Court about that.
Yes, sir.
What did she say about those?
She
charges?
said that she felt that she needed to go pay her storage unit up for I think it was like 9 months. Was something, I believe it was 9 months is what she testified to.
Was there an Instacart purchase
There was
on
an
there?
Instacart purchase on there.
How much was, what was that for?
Are we still on the possession of the house, or were you talking about debts?
Well, these are credit cards that were at the house, and one of the reasons, after she's taking over the house, one of the things she's going through and finding, and, you know, based on her being able to have access to the house, is actually using it. And it's gonna equate to about $7,000 in 10 days. The court's interested in that, fine. If you're not, I'll move on.
I just think we are limited to what the motions are, which is possession of the house. Unless there's a motion down regarding the assessment of debts and so forth. Now, obviously, there's a restraining statutory injunction from, that prohibits things, but.
I'm offering to show waste at the house, because there's no other person that could have gotten these credit cards and used them in such fashion. It certainly implies that she's, went rifling through the drawers and things and found some of this stuff and flat taking advantage of it. Let me ask you one question, I'll get off of it. The Instacart, is that for groceries?
It is. It was. It showed to be 2 purchases, one for $538 and one for $309.
And when you researched that, where was it delivered to?
It was delivered to the front porch of the residence.
Did you make that purchase?
No, sir, I did not.
Judge, I would ask this to be the next exhibit.
I'd object to relevance, Judge.
I'm sorry?
I'd object to relevance.
He's made his argument as to what's relevant, so I'll allow it for the purpose of showing any waste that's occurring because of her possession of the house.
The forklift company that you own is C&K Forklift?
Yes, sir, it is.
And what's the C and the K stand for?
Chris and Kim.
So that was a company that was how old?
Reverently 5, 6 years old now.
And I'm assuming then, because of the name, you and your deceased wife started that company.
It was formed solely in my name. I'm sorry, I get upset when I talk about her. It's always been solely in my name, but she done all the billing to the company, a lot of the communications back and forth with the customers and stuff like that. When it comes to any kind of daily businesses.
So what's going on over at the House Inn in regards to your business? And we've alleged that you need in the house to keep up with your business activities. Tell the court how you use your home for your business and why you need to get possession of the marital residence for your business, okay?
As of right now, it is costing me more money out of my pocket to run the business than I'm making off of the business, because a lot of the stuff that I have in the garage is stuff that I keep pre-ordered and pre-bought, as far as like servicing stuff, filters and oils and all kinds of stuff in the home that I have to turn around. We're talking, some of these filters are over $100 a pop. And, and we're looking, at several of them at times, we're talking thousands upon thousands of dollars just in parts sitting in the garage that I need access to daily. But I never know from day to day what I'm going to need unless it's something we already have pre-scheduled service. I get different calls for different stuff every day, but it could be something that I have in the home that if I don't have it, I'm having to turn around and go order it from somewhere else. And then so now that I'm out money double for what some I've already purchased that I had at the home.
I'm trying to say, sometimes you don't know what you need till you get on the scene of the.
Yeah, unless it's something we do routine maintenance on. I keep filters and stuff at the house for like routine maintenance and stuff on certain accounts that I do on a regular basis, like every 30, 60, or 90 days. But any other stuff like that, there's all kinds of like miscellaneous odd and end parts inside the house that I've kept over the years, stuff that I need access to when I do need them. But the filters and stuff that I have to have on a daily basis, if that customers do to be serviced, I keep all that stuff pre-bought ahead.
So has strike that. Do you know how have you been living since you were removed from the home due to the domestic bond conditions and this order of protection?
I have
Form of
spent.
the question.
I'm sorry?
Objection to the form of the question. There was about 3 qualifiers in that question.
I'll rephrase.
Rephrase your question.
Where have you been living?
I've stayed several different places. Some nights I've had to stay in a motel. I've had to stay at some of my late wife's families. I've been staying with my aunt, which was one of the employees that works for me. I've been staying with them. I've had to pretty much almost just be homeless for the last month. I've been homeless, and it's living from place to place.
Do you have like a mother, father, family support around here that you can lean on?
Just my aunt is really the only one that's been able to stay with.
Do you know if Ms. Childress, in your relationship with her, however brief, do you know if she has funds to go and get a place?
I've witnessed her receive a check for about $18,000 or $19,000 from the VA for her father's estate. That was money that was left over in the VA that she deposited into the bank. And then numerous times when we first started dating, she had sold her father's home and collected the money off of that. And she had told me that she had put, I think, $40,000 in cash down on a Jeep, and then she'd put another $20,000 into the Jeep. And then she had turned around and wrote a check, I think, for maybe $20,000 to the guy that she sold the house to turn around and rent the house back for a year, because that's where she was living when we met. And that's why she didn't move into my home until December, because the house was still paid up for the year. And then amongst that, she had took and went to Florida and bought, she told me, upwards of $10,000 in plants for a business that she was running. And then I think that last December or early January, I had took her to a plastic surgeon in Nashville, and she paid for breast implants, which was about, I think, $8,000 to $10,000. She wrote a check for that day. So she has a lot of money. It's just she's got it put away where it's hard to, where she doesn't want anybody to see it.
You've heard her talk about the Regent's bank account when we were in White Bluff City Court,
Yes,
correct?
sir. Yes, sir.
Did she ever answer the question about?
No, sir. She would not answer how much money she had in the bank. She kept saying I know she has more than one Regent's account. I think she has about 3. from what I've seen her over the times when she would help me pay some of the bills at the house, if it wouldn't go through on one account, she said, hold on, here's my other card, or I need to transfer money from one account to the other. So she has multiple bank accounts through Regions.
Do you have knowledge that she has reliable transportation on her own?
She does. She has a 2017 Jeep Wrangler. There's really nothing wrong with it. She's just, from my understanding, from what I've been hearing and seeing, that my daughter has been driving the Jeep everywhere around Dixon County and up towards Cookville and East Tennessee for the last month.
And what vehicle has she been using?
My wife now?
Yes.
She's been driving my late wife's Armada.
Okay. Are you aware that Ms. Childers has a GoFundMe page?
I do. I was made aware of that yesterday. That for reasons I was told why it was made, and then those are not true reasons.
That's all I have.
Baker, you may cross-examine.
Well, how much money is in these Region Bank accounts that you say exist?
One of them, she told me she had, when we first got together, she told me she had around $100,000 in it
And when was that when you first got together?
about a year ago.
About a year ago. How much is in it now?
Sir, I don't know. I'm not on none of her accounts, and she's not on none of my accounts as far as when it comes to banking.
You don't know, the only one that knows your
I can
wife's
tell you,
condition is.
I know how much was in the one account when she received the check in the mail, when she got the check from her father's estate. I know that check was put into the bank. So I know the amount of that check. It was around $19,000.
Well, the truth is, these things you complain, you're trying to point out here about the breast augmentation and so forth, those were all prior to marriage. Correct?
So yeah, most of them were, yeah.
Yep. So that money was spent prior to marriage, correct? And this Jeep Wrangler, your daughter's driving that, and the only thing you left your wife to drive was the Armada, correct?
I was told that night that she had to have one vehicle there to drive, and I said she has a Jeep in the garage. She argued the fact about that, and then they made me leave the Armada.
All right, so this Jeep that your daughter's driving is the one that would be $30,000 to $40,000 was spent on, according to you?
That's what she was telling me. She had to put it down. She put $30,000 or $40,000 down in cash when she bought it, so she could get it financed because she had just filed bankruptcy.
All right, so she put a $30,000 to $40,000 on a 2017 Jeep a year ago?
When it's been about 2 years ago. It was before we met. She'd already done it.
Well, 2 years ago would have been 2020, correct?
But she had
21?
told me she had received $200-something off the estate of her dad when she sold the home. That's what the house sold for. Now I guess that would be public record to find the exact price.
Okay. Where are you getting these numbers?
I'm from her. I mean, I don't know. That's what she's telling me.
Okay, so the probate's still not open.
I don't know. I've not spoke to her in a month. I don't know what's going on with that. And I know she received the check from the VA of the money that was left over in his account.
Well, let's get back on topic. Name a single thing that's been damaged in that house since your wife's had possession of it.
I've not been on the property in 30 days. I couldn't tell you.
You don't know a single thing that's been damaged, correct?
Not that I know of, because I haven't been on the property.
Then why are you claiming waste?
Well, I mean, from the pictures I'm seeing, there's been all this stuff being toted in and out of the house. There's all these people coming in and out. There's been over $8,000 in credit card charges made. And if you're buying $800 or $900 in groceries, I mean, how does one person need to live off $800 or $900 of groceries? And you're buying, and all these people, are you having parties over for other people? Who are you buying $900 worth of groceries for?
Truth of the matter is, you're just worried because you don't know what's going on over there.
Sir,
right?
hey, like I said, sir, I just want my home back. It's my home. I've had the home prior to our marriage, and I just don't want what I own and what me and my late wife worked for destroyed.
Was you and the neighbor in collusion on the pictures?
Sir, I did not meet her until a couple years ago till she moved in.
Did you have your relative that worked for the police department? Did you have her case in your wife?
No, sir, I did not.
Was he recently terminated?
From what I understand, he was terminated, but for some images that was found on his cell phone. From what I'm understanding, I don't know the whole details behind it.
Okay. Well, let me go through this. Do you know who made these charges on here?
Yes, sir, I do. I was told. It's who I was told by Amazon who made the charges and whose account they was purchased off of. I do.
Okay. Well, I want to go through here. AT&T Wireless, there's 2 charges on there. Tell me how that affects the value of the house or any waste of that house.
Well, for one, that card was in the house and that purchase was made while I was sitting in jail for something I didn't do.
Do you know what waste of property is?
There's probably different definitions of it by everybody.
Well, waste of properties for lawyers means that you're doing something to diminish the value of that real estate. Show me something on here that diminishes the value of that real estate.
Judge, I'm going to object. That's not the definition, and that's not what it was offered for. I've already said what it was offered for as far as what's going, rifling through the drawers and pulling up the credit cards, and that's the reason why it's being offered. Those cards should have never been used. It was one of those situations where she or anybody with access is charging, and that's the waste part of it.
Mr. Baker is right about one thing, and that is that waste as it relates to real property is one thing. Waste as it relates to dissipation of assets in the divorce of personal property and monies is a different thing. You don't call it waste, you call it dissipation of an asset. But you introduced this information on the idea that those credit cards were there and in the house, and this is what they've been used for, which I don't think goes to the issue of possession of the house. I think it's irrelevant. So I am overruling your objection. You brought it up. Mr. Baker can question about it, but none of it's relevant about the possession of the house.
Well,
It goes to the question of dissipation of assets regarding the personal property and economic aspect.
Okay, well, hold on.
We're talking
Let me back, yes, let me back up a minute. So that we're not considering this going to the house, because if it is, I'm going to quit asking
I'm not
questions.
considering that as the issue.
Okay, then I've got no more questions about that. Kind of threw me when you got me on my relevance objection, so I thought you were going somewhere with it.
Sustained your position?
Yeah, well, no, the previous one, when this was introduced, I object to it for relevance, so then I'm like.
Well, I allowed it, but then it had no real relevance to what I have to decide after reviewing the file. The only issue.
Now we hit the money, and notice how fast objections start flying. The husband alleges thousands spent on Amazon, Instacart, storage, and subscriptions using cards left in the house. The judge is careful here because legally this isn't waste of real property. It's possible dissipation of assets, which is a different legal concept entirely. That distinction matters. The court allows the testimony for context, but ultimately signals, this is not the issue I'm deciding today. Should financial behavior ever influence who keeps temporary possession?
For me is possession of the house. I don't think it really relates to that. So.
Okay, and then that wraps up my questions, Judge.
Anything further for this witness?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. You may stand down.
Thank you.
Sure. Holly, you may call your next witness.
May I have a moment with Mr. Claver, please?
Mr. Holly?
We're good, Judge. That's all I have.
All right. Mr. Baker, you wish to call any witnesses?
I'll call Mr. Childers briefly, Judge.
Mr. Childers, you will come forward, please. Raise your right hand and let the clerk place you under oath.
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
May sound redundant, but state your name for the record, please.
Amy Lee Childress.
All right, Ms. Childers, when did you move in with your husband?
It was closer to the end of October.
He testified December, but your recollection's October?
That's correct.
All right, now, I want to stick straight to the topic. Why do you need possession of that house?
Because, and I don't want to own the house. However, I do need time to get out of the house. I need the financial funding, basically where I was at prior to living in the house. And he would not let me go back to work. He wanted me to work for C&K Forklift and gave me a handful of credit cards for me to use as money. And I have $594 coming in a month, which is my dad's state retirement.
You have any other source of income right this minute?
No, sir. Everything else is tied up in estate of Terry Childress, and there's, like I said, a pending lawsuit.
All right, how much money do you have in bank accounts?
I do have three Regions accounts. The first two accounts, each one of those have less than $200 in them. I couldn't tell you the exact number because I've had to shut off all my online banking as well as my cards, and as well as the estate of Terry Childress. That is the check that Chris was referring to because nothing's been paid out yet.
All right, did you start a GoFundMe? page?
I did not start a GoFundMe page.
Did somebody start one on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know who did that by chance?
Yes, sir. It was actually Chris's daughter, Sydney Claiborne.
Okay, gotcha. All right, now, you realize, you know, your husband's gonna get the house back, obviously.
Absolutely, I want him to.
Okay. But how much time are you needing to get moved out of the house and get ready?
If I've got the resources available to me, I mean, I can be out 30 days or less. I mean, I want to be out based on the pictures that are being shown. I'm stopped nonstop.
All right, what was your financial position when you came into this marriage?
I had a job making six figures. I was an engineer. We're right at six figures. Of course, I had my dad's estate money coming in, and you know, I had I don't know, probably $50,000 or so. I mean, I did have money in savings. However, we've blown through that.
What do you mean specifically? What do you mean since October? What happened to that $50,000?
Well, I mean, I had the $50,000. I mean, Chris and I dated for a year and a half, and I paid for everything. Or we would go places and I paid for every trip. Or we would go to the store together and he would not bring out his credit card. I would bring out my debit card. So I paid for a lot of stuff and lost a lot of money.
Okay. Give me the total amount of money you think that you've got right now access to.
That I currently have access to me. $400 is what I've got in my bank account, and I have, I believe, $600, and that's set aside to continue to retain you.
Okay. How much was your lease that you terminated when you moved in with your husband?
$2,400, I believe.
All right. And were you still at Electrolux at that time working in engineering?
I was, correct. I was technically it was HCL. I was a contract engineer for that company, Electrolux.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to get back to the question, because ultimately the question is how much time do you think it would take, or money, to get you back on your feet, to get you moved out?
I mean, if I had basically $3,000 a month, which would cover a house for 6 months and utilities until I can get a job again and get packed up, I mean, I'm willing to go sleep on someone's couch and be out of there within 30 days. However, I do need funding until I can get a job. I have to have resources.
Gotcha. Do you got any other relatives close that you could live with?
I don't. I had a mother, or she was like a mother of 20-some years. She passed away in May, and then that was our neighbor. And the following month, my father passed away in June.
Okay. And do you think you could, and I know we don't have a crystal ball, do you think that you might be able to have employment within 60 days?
As long as I'm not tied up in a courtroom nonstop, yes, sir. Sorry.
All right, fair enough. And nothing's been destroyed in that house?
Absolutely not. And if anything, I've been cleaning the house, and I've been moving his late wife's marital property from storage back into the marital residence and placing the items where they were at prior to I moved in.
Okay. Now that picture of it looked like some trash bags or something outside the porch. Maybe it's pizza boxes. What was that?
So Chris hardly took the trash off. It was Logan Brown that always took it off.
Right.
I did not feel safe leaving the house. So the night that Chris was arrested, I threw all the trash that he had previously piled up in the garage. I threw it right outside the garage door. I shut the door, and then Logan Brown picked it all up in his truck or trailer and hauled it off the next day.
All right. The white pickup truck, do you know anything? Who was driving that white pickup truck?
The one with the muffler? Yes, sir. It was Curry Hicks.
Is that a deputy?
She works for the county jail. Yes, sir.
And you know what she was checking? What was she doing out there?
I've had a lot of friends reach out because I am in fear for my safety, especially when I've seen what I've seen, and I won't go into it because there's an active investigation with the city of White Bluff. Okay. However, she had came by the house because she drives by Jeremy Duke's house on the way to and from work, and she left at that time of the morning because she wanted to make sure that my husband was not living there, which was a violation.
Right. All right, and was Mr. Dukes, was he at the White Bluff Police Department?
Mr. Duke was not at the White Bluff Police Department. Mr. Duke was at home with Chris Claiborne.
Okay. All right.
And that's my understanding, is what she told me.
Okay, Mr. Holly may ask you some questions.
Okay.
Holly?
So, all right, Ms. Childers, is it fair to say then you're capable of making 6 figures a year?
Yes, sir, I am very capable if I have the time and I'm not tied up in a courtroom nonstop. I was in a courtroom personally with you twice last week and preparing and working with investigators and detectives. That's my full-time job right now.
This happened like the 5th or so of March, and we just started court last week. What have you done from like the 5th or 6th of March to last week to find a place to stay?
Like I said, I've been working on packing up items, and my charges, which were made with a card with my name on them, I had purchased storage units to pack up my belongings, and then I was issued a restraining order from you not to move anything out. So do I move out? Do I stay? So that's where I'm at. I will confirm and tell you, I absolutely do not want the house. I do not want to stay in the house any longer than 30 days. I just need arrangements to get out of the house and the funds to do so. I do not want to be there.
Well, all fairness, it's not your house.
It's not my house.
Have you ever told anybody that you were going to stay in that house forever?
I have not, but actually I have a recording of my husband saying if I would go make a false police report that he would put my name on the deed.
Did you ever tell, you know Pat Jones, you're familiar with her, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever tell Miss Jones that you're going to stay in that house for as long as it takes?
Nope. Absolutely not.
So if she comes in here and says that, then she's not being very truthful.
That would be a
Objection,
lie.
asked and answered.
Sustained, I believe it was asking an answer.
You said that you had, in previous testimony, while below City Court, you said you had ordered a lot of that stuff on Amazon, and you agreed that you were getting curtains for the house, correct?
And that is correct.
So if you're not doing anything unsafe, and the reason for that was so that your neighbor couldn't see in.
The reason for that is based on the number of pictures that have been taken of this house. I did not feel safe, especially since she's communicating with my husband and there's an order of protection and bond conditions in place.
You lived over there for a long period of time without those curtains on those windows, correct?
Yes, and I complained about that then, and my husband said we would get blinds and put up.
So if you're not doing anything unsavory in that house, why would you need those curtains?
Again, like I said, because there's an order of protection, there's bond conditions out, and like you clearly made available to the court, there are a lot of pictures of my every move being taken.
You didn't like that, did you?
It's not that I don't like it, it's creepy. Because the amount of time that those girls were in that hot tub was maybe 5 minutes. And you have pictures of every vehicle coming in and out of my driveway, including Mr. Claiborne's own half-brother, who is a police officer with Mount Pleasant, who came by the house to go meet with me in Detective Lovell. So yes, it is creepy, which is why I want out of the house.
Childers, I want to show you a document and ask you if you recognize that document.
Yes, sir, I do.
That's a Facebook post.
It is, absolutely.
That's your Facebook post, correct?
Yes,
And you posted this.
yes.
And there's a photo in a frame. And who is in that photo?
That is Chris's late mother, or late wife, I'm
Like
sorry.
wife, yep. And there are 2 wedding rings in front of that photo in a frame, correct?
That is correct, the 2 he never wore.
And you posted some words above that, correct?
Yes,
Can you read those?
Judge, I
You-
want to object to the relevance of
What
this.
is the relevance?
Yeah, and it's going to waste. This jewelry, and I can bring him back up later, but these rings were at the house, and these rings
This
were,
is not about possession of the house, this is about, you were talking about personal property now.
well, personal property should be at that house, and that's,
Personal property, real property. We're talking about real property, not personal property.
okay.
Sustain the objection.
All right, if I can approach. But you're not trying to get even with him just because you own the house to put this kind of stuff on Facebook, are you?
I'm doing that because he kicked his daughter out of the house in basically the same manner, no car, no vehicle, no resources. And I am supporting his daughter as well as his daughter is supporting me.
And you're gonna get even with him because of that?
I have no reason to get even with
Do the
him.
activities you're doing now?
No, sir, I have no reason to get even with him. I simply want out of the marriage.
I'm fine. Thank you, Judge.
Redirect.
You think 90 days you can be out of the house and have a job?
As long as I'm not tied up in investigations and courtrooms, yes, sir.
Fair enough. No further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Mr. Baker, you may call your next witness.
That's our witnesses.
I hear you improve in argument.
Well, Judge, briefly, it's his house. We've established that. Been his house for quite some time, him and his late wife's house. You see what's going on over there. The neighbors are, for all intents and purposes, terrified of what's going on next door. And that's not the way that Mr. Claiborne lived. That's not the way this should be going. And there's some reasoning for that, and hopefully we brought that about. But there is some waste going on. Hopefully we've showed that with these photographs. And Mr. Claiborne, again, this is his separate property, and he's entitled to get it back. We're not here on spousal support. There's been no motion filed. There's no notice opportunity to be heard on her with any spousal support. I didn't have opportunity to bring in his income and expense statement. We've got plenty of time to do that. We obviously have a order of protection that we have to try, and if we have to come in here for some sort of, division of marital debts, a spousal support argument for her, then so be it. But right now, she has the means to get out. She's got that Jeep. She's more or less already packed everything up, it sounds like, at this point. And Mr. Claiborne needs his property back. He's homeless, and the business depends on him to be able to get into that house to make a living. He's got much more need for that house than she does at this point.
Judge, the husband has left the wife in a lurch here. You know, we're roughly 2 weeks out from filing this, this petition. You know, you couldn't even get notice on a detainer action by statute this quick. I think it requires 20 days to even get to a hearing on a detainer action. And the husband is now run into court. Ooh, I want to make my wife, who now I had to quit her job, I want to throw her out in the street with no income, no money, no place to live, and no means to support herself. Judge, I'd ask that we be awarded temporary possession, at least on a 90-day interval, and we revisit this if necessary till she gets back on her feet.
Well, Mr. Baker brings up a detainer action, and essentially that's where we are. This is a marriage of some 5 months. Clearly, the proof established without question or doubt that this property is a separate property of Mr. Claiborne. Ms. Shortis has obtained various things in the way of like an order of protection, which is not before me. It was pointed out, and I certainly have examined this file numerous times this afternoon. There is only one thing before me, and that's possession of the house. Mr. Mr. Claiborne is the owner of that property. It's acknowledged by Ms. Childress that it's his property. She acknowledges she doesn't want it. She's just asking for time to get out. In a detainer action, once the court determines that the owner of the property is entitled to possession, then the occupant is given 10 days to remove themselves from the property. In this particular case, Mr. Claiborne not only is the owner of the property and has concerns about what's taking place in the property itself, but also it is the location of his business activities that is hampering his ability to operate his business. Based upon all the proof, this court is of the opinion that the temporary possession of the property should be given to Mr. Claiborne. She will have 10 days to vacate the property. There is no motion before me regarding support for her or any other economic aspect of it, and it's only solely a possession, and I'm treating it as a detainer action. And in General Sessions Court, it would be the same thing. She would have 10 days to vacate. So that 10 days is operating as of right now, effective starting tomorrow. In addition to that, the restraining order that's previously issued is modified to prevent her from removing any personal property that might be separate property of Mr. Claiborne from damaging or destroying anything prior to her leaving. Mr. Baker, you have stood up.
Well, Judge, if we're treating this as a detainer, I would ask for at least 16 days since we're required for 14 days notice on a hearing on a detainer.
Well, I said I'm treating it. It is obviously not a detainer action, so it was a nice effort, but nonetheless, I'm sorry that she is in such a situation that it may call upon her to rely upon friends and so forth. And upon the filing of a motion for spousal support, then certainly Judge Wallace can give you a hearing date and you can come back in before him on your order of protection or the spousal support and have that heard. He'll be here next month or this month? April. April's this month, so you probably should check with him. All right.
May I address court?
No. What about?
Well, I know I'm gonna get asked this out in the hall, so tomorrow's day one. If I'm looking at that right, that would be the 14th, at lunch or
10
5.
days, starts running tomorrow.
And the weekends and all that'd be the 14th, so that'd be, we need a time,
I'm
12.
assuming you two good lawyers can calculate 10 days without me having to do it for you.
Say
First
6
day
p.m.
is tomorrow. 10 days from tomorrow will be, tomorrow is the 5th. 10 days from tomorrow is the 15th. That's 10 days.
15th, yes, sir.
He has to be out by 6 p.m. on the 15th day of April.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. Put it in order.
That is the judgment.
Tonight in court, we've got a high-stakes battle over a home, credit cards, and personal property. The husband claims thousands in Amazon and Instacart charges went rogue, while the wife insists she's just trying to survive after moving in. Who's really in the wrong? From accusations of financial chaos to emotional fallout over a marital home, the courtroom tension is through the roof. Stay tuned as we break down the legal drama, uncover contradictions, and explore what possession really means when emotions and assets collide. Here's where things get wild: $4,000 in Amazon charges in a single week right after the husband leaves the house. He claims these are unauthorized, spanning everything from vacuum sealers to dog food. Now, legally speaking, this isn't waste of real property, it's what the law calls dissipation of assets, a fancy term for spending marital or personal money without consent. Audience, pause here. If you saw a spouse using your business credit card like this, would you call it theft, waste, or just mismanagement? The financial stakes are huge. Now pay attention, because this is where the emotional layer hits hard. Jewelry from the late wife, wedding rings, and sentimental items are reportedly still in the house. The husband's fear isn't just about money, it's about memories, legacy, and control over personal property. Legally, personal property is separate from real property, but emotionally? This is a minefield. Imagine seeing strangers moving your valuables around while you're out of your own home. Who has the right to protect legacy items when marriages, courts, and assets collide? Here's a critical pivot. The husband runs a forklift company and claims lack of access to the home is costing him thousands in pre-purchased parts, filters, and oils needed for daily operations. This is more than a marital dispute, it's a business crisis. Courts often have to weigh property possession not just for emotional or personal reasons, but for practical, financial impact. The twist? He's effectively homeless while trying to protect both his company and personal property. How would you feel if your workplace and home were entangled in a legal standoff? Switching perspectives, the wife claims she needs time and resources to move out safely. With 3 bank accounts showing almost nothing, limited monthly income, and ongoing estate issues, she's arguing for temporary possession to get back on her feet. This raises an important legal and ethical question: should courts weigh immediate safety and financial survival against property rights? The contrast here is stark. The husband claims asset dissipation, the wife claims necessity. Who's right when law, finance, and human survival collide? Here's where the courtroom drama peaks. The wife posted a Facebook photo of the late wife's jewelry, defending her actions and highlighting the emotional context. The husband accuses her of waste and personal vendettas, while she insists she's only trying to protect herself. This raises a crucial point: in high-conflict divorce or separation cases, social media can become another battleground. Public perception, online evidence, and emotional storytelling are all at play, making it much more than a legal fight. Who do you think is swaying the court and the public more? To sum up, the judge had to carefully distinguish between waste of real property versus dissipation of assets, weigh possession against financial and emotional realities, and consider safety and business implications. The ruling allowed testimony but focused on possession of the house, not personal property or spousal support. The broader takeaway? Courtroom disputes often involve more than just ownership, they're battles of money, memory, and survival. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.